Hey brewers, welcome back. I firstly going to apologise for not having put a video up in a very long time. I haven't done any brewing since late last year at some point. Would have been maybe November, I think was the last time I did a batch. Just been busy, Christmas and all that. So anyway, I just grabbed some stuff really quickly at Woolworths yesterday and going to put a batch down because it's been a long time and well, I'm going to start chipping into my supplies. Well, I have been chipping into my supplies and I kind of need to start replenishing. So, Cooper's Draft. I honestly can't remember if I've done this one before, so I just thought I'd pick it up. Why not? I don't mind a good draft or a lager. So let's just give this one a shot, see if it works out alright. I'm just going to do it with Brew Enhancer 2 because that's pretty much my only option at my local Woolworths. Again, not going anywhere. We're kind of in a bit of a lockdown at the moment. There's nothing stopping you going to shops. You just got to wear a mask and everything. But it's a little bit, you know what 2020's been like, and it's 2021 now, and it looks like we're sort of hitting our first sort of major outbreak here. So anyway, gonna do this together. Before I start, I'm gonna have to rewash my brewing vessel. It was clean, and I would have normally just given it a sanitize before I do everything, but I'm gonna rewash a whole lot. I've been doing some work in the garage and stupidly did some sanding in there, and I just got sawdust all over bloody everything. So including this, which I wiped the top off and everything, but I was having a look in and I was like, I'm pretty sure some sort of ambient crap has found its way inside here. So I'm just going to wash the whole thing again. It can't be too safe, I guess. I suppose if I didn't, I'd have a very tanniny flavoured beer. I don't know if that's even a thing. Personally, I'm not really keen on trying it. I love experimenting, but this is not something I really want to experiment with personally. Anyway, so I'm just going to get to work sanitizing. I'll chuck it together. Not going to do anything fancy this brew, as I haven't really done for quite some time. And again, apologise for that. So hopefully we'll get some interesting brews happening soon. But for now, we're just going to do this pretty much as per kit. I may find some dextrose if I have some in the garage and chuck a little bit extra for some extra ABV. And I'll probably dry hop this one with something that I've got lying around. I know I've got a lot of hops, so anyway, let's get started. I'll get cleaning and we'll get putting this together. Okay, everything's nice and clean. I always do a good clean after every batch, so I didn't have to do anything crazy, just some nice hot water, some soap, and just basically give the whole thing a rinse out, all my bits and pieces all rinsed out. Even gave these cans and stuff a wipe because they all were covered in dust as well. So anyway, let's start putting this brew together, and now that everything's cleaned and re-sanitized. First mistake, usually when I put stuff together in these brews, it doesn't really matter which order you do it, but it does help to do your dry stuff first. Mix that in with a couple of litres of water so it's all mixed in and good. Then chuck in your malt extract. It's been such a while since I brewed, I just didn't even think. I dumped my extract in first, no water, then dumped my Brew Enhancer 2 in. So I've got to put water in now and try to mix this up. So whereas you normally use a few litres of water initially, I'm going to have to kind of use a little bit more now to try to mix this up. Not a problem in the end, as long as I get it mixed up, it's still going to come out the same as it would anyway. It just can be a little bit harder to mix this way. So don't make this mistake if you don't want to spend longer time mixing. Now I'm going to have to do that. But like always, I will put some boiling water into my extract can, let that sit for a few minutes, give it a stir, tip it in. That'll get all the residual extract out. And then I'll just put a bit more, whatever's left over in my boiling water in here, and some cold water, and just try to mix it as much as I can. I'll probably put about this much water in this time, just to sort of get that initial mix going, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, normally, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then more water, but don't do what I did. Okay, you can actually see I just dumped all the water in, so I've got about 2 and a bit litres of water at the moment. It actually didn't come out too bad. These Brew Enhancers are they're mostly dextrose. Well, there's a good chunk of dextrose, a bit of maltodextrin in them. So they mix really well. So even though I've only got about 2 and a bit litres of water, and I've got all my fermentables pretty much in this at the moment, this is actually mixing very well. Down at the bottom it's still very thick. You can see there I'm bringing up a lot of malt extract. But that will mix in quite easily at this point. So I just got to mix this for a few minutes, but overall, disaster has been averted. Well, it never was a disaster, but problems have been averted. So if you do make the same mistake I did, don't worry. It really doesn't matter. Still going to mix up the same. So like I said, I'm going to chuck in some dextrose as well. I'm not even going to bother measuring it. I'm just going to use about a third of what I've got in there. Given that's about 3/4 of a bag, I'm looking at about 250 grams, give or take. Like I said, I'm not going to really measure it. I will take a gravity reading this time though, so I can actually get a good measure on how much alcohol is in this batch, especially given I'm sort of going a bit loose with the ingredients. But as you can see, it's only been a few minutes and it's pretty much mixed in now. No malt extract coming from the bottom of the fermenter. Right, I'm just going to keep mixing this, and I'm going to add about 250 grams, give or take, of dextrose into this batch, and then fill it up with water, and I'll come back to you. Okay, here we go. We filled her up. I just put 21 litres into this batch. Feels about right to me. You can make a batch anywhere from 18 to 23 litres really. Lower amount of water will mean higher alcohol percentage in your beer. I tend to stick around the 21, 22 litres for most of my batches. I've done 20. I don't think I've gone lower than that, unless the stout was a bit lower. But yeah, it's up to you. Personal preference really. But with a draft, I wouldn't mind a kind of a mid to lighter beer anyway. To me, it tastes just as good. And I bumped it up with some dextrose anyway. So the only extra step now is to add the yeast. I'm only using the kit yeast today. I've only got US-05 anyway, and I don't really think I want to use that on a draft. Chuck it in like so. Don't have to stir it, it'll do its job from there. That is it. Another batch down. All we got to do now is sit and wait 5 days, then I'll chuck in some dry hops. With dry hopping, if you've got any questions, because this is something I was confused about at first, you can put it in a hop bag. You can buy them from your homebrew shop. If you don't have access to that, or you can't afford that, or you don't want to do that, you can just use these, like you know, any old cloth, Chuck's cloth. Just rip one off, put your hops in there, tie it up, chuck it in your brew. It doesn't leak ink or dye or anything like that into the beer, as far as I can tell. I've never had an issue doing it. Don't just chuck your hops in without a bag. Did that once before, and the big error that happened with that is I'm sure it's infused fine and the beer tasted alright, but when it comes to bottling time, all the hop sediment gets clogged in your little valve here, and it becomes near impossible to actually pour a batch of beer. I had to keep taking off this valve, because it kept on getting clogged with hop stuff. So yeah, always bag your hops up when you're going to do a dry hop for that purpose alone. That is the only reason why you need to do it. There may be other reasons, but that's the one practical reason that I've discovered you need to do. That is it, guys. I hope this is in some way informational. Once again, I do apologise for not really putting any videos up for a long time. I know quite a few people have been starting to subscribe, so thanks heaps for watching, guys. I hope you're getting something out of it. I'm just a newbie like everyone else, just kind of just putting stuff together in a plastic fermenter and letting it go. Mate, I'm here to help. I do apologise again for not doing many videos. I've kind of been busy with other stuff other than homebrew. I've been sort of building some furniture, not very successfully, but I've been doing it anyway. At the moment over here we got a computer desk coming together, so the top over there, and just got to finish sanding it off outside this time, and put it together and stain it up. And I've also been getting into 3D printing. Now that's something I've been looking at for a long time, and it's bloody interesting. Not quite as difficult as I was led to believe going in, but at the same time there's a lot to learn, and I sure can perfect what I'm doing. I've just been printing little models off. Anyway, one of these days maybe I'll chuck a couple on camera. Remember that dust I was telling you about? You can see it all over these bottles, so I'm going to have to wash these out, obviously, because they're going to have a lot of sawdust inside. The sealed bottles I don't really care about, because I'll just wipe them off before I drink it, but everything is going to need a good cleaning, unfortunately. I've got dust everywhere, thanks to that tabletop. Oh, this is something I'm looking at doing in the future as well. Ginger beer. I've been saving these bottles, because I think they'd be nice little ginger beer bottles. So I'm going to brew a batch of ginger beer at some point, hopefully by the end of summer. It's something I haven't done before, and have been curious to do. Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of alcoholic ginger beer, but I'm more than happy to brew it and give it a try, see if it tastes alright. why not? Can't hurt. I do like Bundaberg ginger beer though. It's always good. Thanks for watching again, guys. Keep brewing. I hope you have a good year. 2021 can't be any worse than 2020. We hope. But hey, in the meantime, just keep brewing. Keep being creative. That's the main thing. That's the only bit of advice I can give. Doesn't matter if it's homebrew, whatever creative outlet you've got, just keep busy. It's kind of helped me get through the year. Just constantly working on one project or another. It doesn't matter what it is. If I get lazy, that's when things get harder. It becomes harder to get out of a funk if you just sort of put things off again and again and again. So just keep busy. And hell, if brewing beer is your thing, brew beer. Just brew it batch after batch after batch if that's what's going to keep your mind occupied, because it helps. Alright guys, take care, and we will see you soon. And I keep saying I should put a tasting video up, and I really will one of these days. I just never get around to it. Hopefully soon. I've got plenty of beer here to taste anyway, but I do need to start brewing because I was starting to run a little bit low on stocks. Anyway, take care. Cheers.